Okay, it's a video which I know a lot of you are going to love. How to get more distance out of this club with 3 simple hacks. Nailed it, 10 out of 10. It's going to be a good filming day, this. Hi guys, my name is Peter Finch and this is all about how you can get that driver out there as far as possible. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, the first little hack, is to tee that ball up as high as possible. Now you may have heard this before, but not actually understood why it's important. Is if you tee the ball up really high, you can hit up on the ball and you can optimize your spin loft. So the spin loft, very simply, is the difference between your angle of attack and your delivered dynamic loft. If you can get your loft and your angle of attack matching a little bit better at the point of impact, you are going to reduce the amount of spin loft. Therefore, you're going to reduce the amount of backspin, get a higher launch, more carry with less spin. So it's going to carry further, and then when it lands, it's going to shoot forwards. So this is something that you see some of the best players in the world do very, very effectively. Now this is about distance. This is not about accuracy, because you can strike down on a driver, still get some decent distance and accuracy as well. This is just one of those things that you can tweak, that you can try, and you can try and implement to get that little bit more power. So a few things that you need to be aware of with the tee being this high. I'm going to have to try and move my club a lot more out to the right hand side, because as the club starts to ascend in its arc, it's going to travel further off to the left hand side. So aiming a little bit further right, trying to swing further right, that's going to ensure that the path is matched better to the arc as it starts to ascend through the point of impact. So I'm going to aim a little bit further right than I normally would do here. I'm going to get myself set up, ball position just inside my left heel, and I am going to try and hit up on this ball as much as possible. That's all right, isn't it? So that is a nice high raking draw down the middle. Oh wow, see that? So that's carried all the way into the far bunker. That's actually a lot further than I thought I'd hit. Again, it's this thing, talk through the shots, and it works every single time. So just to elucidate this point a little bit more, I'm going to tee this ball very low. Now this is probably how high I'd be teeing a fairway wood, maybe even an iron on a par 3, to be honest. But because the tee is so low, I'm not going to be able to get that club traveling from the inside out and hitting up, because I'm going to be brushing the ground beforehand. That's why teeing the ball up really high is important, because I've got that clearance to actually get the club moving in that direction. So because the ball is a little bit lower, I'm going to actually have to strike down a touch more, get my swing traveling a little bit further left, again, just to equalize that path, because as I hit down more, I'm going to get that path traveling a little bit more off to the right hand side. Now the result of that is going to be a lower ball flight, and one that I'm probably going to have to get the feeling of peeling off to the right with a touch of a fade. So I'm going to get set up, I'm going to aim a little bit further down that left hand side and get the feeling that I'm moving down and left with the swing. Yeah, that's all right on these demos. So that is a little fade. It's going towards, you know what a perfect example. So that's gone at the same bunker, and it's actually ended up in the same bunker that my first one flew and hit the top of. So that is carried probably roughly 20 yards shorter than the one that I hit teed up. And that's going to make a huge difference if that was pitching in the middle of a dry fairway. Now the second thing that you can do is start to adjust your loft. Now we've just spoken about hitting up on the ball. Now if you hit up on the ball, your dynamic loft will actually be increased if you're not doing anything too crazy with your hands. Now that means that you can actually crank the loft that little bit lower. If you can crank the loft a little bit lower, again, you're going to be reducing the amount of overall spin. That is why you see a lot of the best players in the world with very low lofts. Now the caveat to this is what type of head design that you use. So I use an M6. Now this is generally a higher spinning driver than some of the adaptations that I can make to say the M5. So pretty much every manufacturer does this type of system now, developing two heads, one which is supposedly easier to hit, the M6, probably why I've got it, and then one which is a lower spinning alternative. Again, just to maximize what is happening at the point of impact as far as launch and spin are concerned. So have a little bit of a play around with that loft. Most drivers now do come with the adjustable hosel as well, so you can play around. And remember, the lower the loft, the more you will have to hit up to optimize that type of setting. If you start hitting down with a low loft, the ball's just going to go low. Now, last little thing you need to be aware of with the driver are the balls that you actually use. Now, I've switched this year to a harder, higher launching, lower spinning ball. Again, all based around this idea that getting a higher launch with low spin is going to lead to overall distance gains. Now, what this will do is if it's that higher launching, lower spinning shot, that doesn't mean it's going to be more accurate. So it's always that balancing act of trying to get the accuracy versus the distance. But strokes gained does show that if you can bomb it down there a long way and at least keep it in the semi-rough, you will have an advantage overall on the field, depending on the course you play. If it's like super thick rough, then yeah, course by course situation. So guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that like button, and please follow me below on all my other social media platforms, which are linked in the description. And if you do have any other of those quick hacks for driving, please comment below. Remember, if we share, we will all learn a lot quicker together. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.